Okay, so thank you for joining this morning. Today we're going to talk about, really one of the basics of our business, and that's how to use Cole Realty to export contacts so that you can do prospect marketing to them. And this is one of the simplest free ways to start a farm area and to start sending market material and information to people in the neighborhood, or in this case, the zip code that you want to focus on. So in order to get to Cole Realty, which is the source that we use, you want to log into myWeichert 1. And again, our two main websites are weichert1.com and my.weichert.com. And again, the first step in this whole process is going to be to log into Cole Realty, which you can do from anywhere. You can do it from the office. You can do it from home. Once you're logged into weichert1.com, you're going to go over here to the left side under associate information, right? And then you're going to go down to Cole Realty resource. And when I click on this, Cole Realty is going to open up and you will be automatically logged into Cole Realty, right? You don't need any password for it or anything like that. Super simple. So then what we want to do is scroll down. And usually by default, this button, Prospect IQ, is automatically selected. I'm just going to click on it just in case it's not. But again, it is. You can tell if it is because the first thing will say, enter geographic for your criteria, and zip code will be the first line. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to select a zip code. And what you want to do is you want to select the zip code that you live in or that you want to target prospect in, right? So it can be any neighborhood, any zip code. We have this whole database for New York City. We actually have it for New Jersey as well, but we're going to be focusing on picking a zip code in New York. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick one in Brooklyn, right? 11211, and that's my zip code. And everything else here I'm going to leave blank, right? When we're pulling these lists of people, we don't have to do that much, right? We really don't have to put in any other criteria because we want to cast as large of a net as possible, right? It's like if you're fishing, right? You don't want to use a tiny net, right? If you pick just one street, you're only going to get very specific information. We want to cast a wide net, and we want to use that wide net to be able to send these emails to as many people as possible. So again, all I'm doing is I'm picking my zip code, and feel free to do this along with me so you can kind of get the hang of doing it. I'm going to put in the zip code, that addresses that I want to pull the information for. Under 2, advanced criteria, we can leave all this blank, right? All we're trying to do is pull as many people as we can from certain zip codes who at some point were associated with those zip codes to send them information. So I'm gonna leave all that blank. And under step 3, what type of list would you like to create, right? We're doing this because we want to create emails. And so we want people who have their name and their email in here. So we're going to check off is email, right? So 2 things that we're doing here. We're doing zip code and putting in the zip code. We're skipping step 2. Step 3, we're checking off email, and then we're going to hit search, right? And what this is going to do is this is going to go into their database, and it's going to try to find out what people's information they have, in our case with an email, for that zip code, right? And so here's what it says. Your search exceeded 1,500 records. Up to 10,000 will be displayed, and up to 1,500 can be downloaded at once. And so I'm going to click OK. Now, if I scroll down, it's going to tell me here how many people are in here, right? So in that 11211 zip code that I selected, there are 6,360 names with usually an address and an email, right? And some of them are going to have their phone numbers, which again, in the case of what we're doing right now, it doesn't matter if it has it or not, right? So the second person doesn't have anything but their email, but that's fine, right? Because that's all we want. So the system allows us to download up to 1,500 records at a time, right? And so what we have to do in this case is divide that up into 5 different downloads, right? The first one is going to be 1 through 15. The second one is going to be, 1 through 14, right? Because that's going to be the first 1,500. So I'm going to do 1 to 14, right? And I'm going to click on pages. And what that's going to do is it's going to select the first 1,500 people in this zip code. Now, what I want to do is pull this data out of Cole Realty, this online system that we have, and download it to my computer. And then when I download it, right, which is one of the options here, I have to pick how I want it formatted. And what we want it formatted is a CSV file, right? CSV stands for comma separated values. It's basically a spreadsheet that divides up information into different sections. And that's the only form that we can then upload into the myWeichert system easily, right? So here's what I'm doing again. I'm going to do the first 14 pages, right? Because that's going to be contact 1 through 14999. And I'm going to hit download, right? And I'm going to save the file to my computer. Again, this is saving as Weichert CSV format. I'm going to save it. And now it's downloaded, right? And so again, if I wanted to, I could open this up, but we don't need to, right? This system is so simple that we don't need to do anything with this. And so the next thing I'm going to do, right? I'm going to do pages 15 to 30, right? And again, you can see here, these first ones aren't selected, but if I scroll down, or if I scroll to page, let's go to 15. And again, you don't have to do any of this. Now they're going to be selected, right? So I'm selecting the next group of 1,500 people. And I'm going to do the same thing, right? I'm going to do 15 to 30. I want to download as a CSV. And again, if I did it for one, I don't have to do anything else. It's going to be in there already. And I'm going to hit download. Right? And I'm going to save the file. That's it. In this case, now we're going to do 31 to 45. Same thing, download. (46 to 60). Download. And then I'm going to do 61 to 64, which again, I know that because of this number, right? And if you kind of, you do the first 14, and then you keep going from there, it's going to download all of them. So in this case, I've now downloaded 5 different files, right? The first 1,500, the second, the third, the fourth, and then the last 360, right? And so that is all we have to do in Cole Realty, right? And again, I'm just going to go through one more time and just show you what I'm doing. I'm going to go back to Cole Realty to the home page. I'm going to hit Prospect IQ. Usually it's automatically selected. I'm going to type in a zip code, 1121, let's do 5 this time. Scroll down. I want email records. Then I'm going to hit search. And you can do this for any zip code anywhere in New York State, actually. So if you're working in the Hamptons, if you're working in Westchester, you can do this exact same thing. So again, in this case, it has 7,662 files, and we could do the same thing and download these, right? We're going to pick pages 1 to 14, right? It's going to select these. I'm going to download it. I'm going to select CSV format. And I'm going to download, right? And I just want to do one zip code for now, so I'm not going to actually download these, but that's it, right? And so after doing this, I now have 6,634, however many it is, contacts that are just sitting on my computer, right? Now we need to do something with it. And so what we need to do is now upload them into our CRM system, right? We need to upload them into myWeichert. So I'm going to go to my myWeichert page, right? And to do that, you go to my.weichert.com and you log in. Again, the same password for Weichert1 works for my.weichert.com. And I'm going to go over here, excuse me, on the side to all lead engine tools, right? Because taking these people and putting them in my system is going to start generating leads that I can then market to. So on the top right here, we're going to click on bulk lead import, right? So I'm going to click here. And there are two options. One, you can do it yourself. The other, you can let them handle it, right? And my suggestion is always let them handle it. It's a great check to make sure the information is being imported into the system correctly. So I'm going to click here on Submit File. And what this is going to do is going to take me through a couple of questions that I need to answer about the data and how it's going to go into my system, right? So I'm going to accept the terms and hit Next. And again, if you've done this before, your information should be in here. If not, you put in your first name and last name, your email and your phone number. Now, they're asking, I am an agent, right? We're all agents here. I am located and working these leads in the United States. I want these leads assigned to me, right? You want them into your database. And these leads should be owned by me, right? These are all ones that are owned by you because you're putting them into your own system. The next thing we do is we choose a file, right? And again, these 5 files came up, and again, I'm on a Mac here, but if you're on a PC, you can find the files wherever you downloaded them to, usually be in my downloads. And I'm going to select the first one, right? And so, oops. There we go. Okay, so the file is now sitting here. And do I have an associated lead note file? I'm going to say no, I don't. What is my preferred lead status for each contact? I'm going to import each lead as a prospect, right? Because I want these to go in my system, so I'm going to start a prospecting plan on them. The second question is, do I want to apply a hashtag to these leads? And I do want to apply a hashtag, right? What I want to do is, and as a reminder, a hashtag is basically an identifier for you so that you can pull all the people that you kind of merge together into this, right? So I'm going to put the zip code. And for me, that's the easiest way to segment out all these different people is by keeping track of the zip code that I'm sending my marketing material to, right? So I'm going to do 11211. Again, what type of deal should we put in? I'm just going to put in buyer. That's what I default everyone put in, stuff like that. The next thing is about automation, right? Do I want them to receive listing alerts? No, I don't, right? The only thing I want them to do is be in my system. And the same thing about smart campaigns. Do I want to do anything? I'm going to say, no, don't run any smart campaigns, right? If you have certain campaigns set up, I would rather add them later on. Again, the MTS can kind of help you with all of that. And the last thing you need to do is here, click on Submit Import File for processing, right? There we go. These leads are now being processed into my CRM system, right? And so I just did the first 1,500 that I pulled. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go back. And again, if I go back to this window that was open before, just click Submit File again, right? You're going to accept the terms. This is all filled out. Again, I'm an agent working in the United States. I want the leads assigned to me. I own these leads. I'm going to choose a file. And in this case, I'm going to choose the second file that I did. Right, it's going to show up here. There's no lead notes. I'm going to import them as prospects. Yes, I want to add 11211. Oops. There we go. These are potential buyers. I do not want to give them listing alerts, and I do not want to run smart campaigns, right? And that's it, right? See how easy this is. The whole process, again, we're at about 15 minutes into this. I went pretty slow. Once you get the hang of it, it takes about 2 minutes to download and upload these files, right? Again, I'm just going to keep going through the whole thing. Agent, United States, want them signed to me. I own them. I'm going to choose my file. Choose the third one. No notes. Prospect. Buyer. No, and submit. Right. And the great thing about having them do it is if you mess something up, they will fix it for you. So, that's the really nice thing about having them upload it versus you trying to do it yourself, right? I'm an agent in the United States. I want them assigned to me. I own them. I'm going to choose the fourth file. No. Prospect. Buyers, no listing alerts, no smart campaigns. and the submit. And again, I'm just gonna do it the last time so you can see it one more time. Submit file, accept. An agent in the United States, want them assigned to me, I own them, choose my last file. Prospect, add the zip code. And again, you don't need the hashtag sign or anything like that here to put it in. It will automatically apply it. And here we go, right? So that's it. It's a very straightforward process. You do not have to open any file. All you're doing is saving it to your computer and then re-uploading it, and you can delete the files afterwards, right? It's just a really, really simple way to start building a farm area, right? So again, that zip code in Brooklyn, my next step would be, again, a different video that I've already produced. And again, we'll go over it next week, kind of how to put together those videos. But what I can do as soon as they're in the system, again, the KV core says that it usually takes about 3 days to import all this. In reality, it happens usually within a day. You'll get an email saying, hey, they're in your system now. And so what you can do then is, all those people, right? Those 6,000 something people will all be with the same hashtag, right? The 11211 hashtag. So when I go in and I build a mass email and send it to my target marketing area, which is that 11211, all I have to do is have it send it to everyone in 11211, and it will send it to all 6,000 whatever of those people. And yes, people unsubscribe, and yes, people won't, read the email, or they'll be like, where the F did you get my information from? That's totally fine, right? That's part of the business, right? Rejection is 100% part of the business. What you're doing is you're weeding down the people. And again, they can unsubscribe. You can archive them in the system so they don't get any more emails from you. But what it's going to do is it's going to allow you to increase your target market area and where you're sending emails to people and stuff like that. So that's basically it. I'm going to stop the share and love to take any questions that you have.
So Jason, if I upload the same file twice, would they know? Would they know there's duplicates?
They usually catch it, and they'll see that there's duplicates, and they kind of send you a ping about that.
Okay.
My suggestion is, if you're pulling certain zip codes, they're not that dynamic, let's say. So, I would, potentially just go back every 6 months or something like that. You wouldn't need to do it every week, or maybe every year. It should be a good enough list to kind of get started with.
Okay. Yeah, I did that last week with Christine. She did it over the phone, but now I have to do it myself to kind of understand the whole system. And
Awesome.
And I didn't get any responses. I didn't get any requests for any.
That's totally fine. And I was talking to Maria before, when we send these emails, usually we don't get a response right away, right? Mm-hmm. What we need to do is continue to market to the same groups of people until they unsubscribe or until they respond. And what you'll see is that potentially no one might have responded to the email, but someone might have started playing around with your website, right? And that could be someone that then you call or follow up with because they've engaged with you. They might respond to the email. They might, you never know. The biggest thing is that when you go into your myWeichert system, right? When you click here, again, I don't send mass emails from this address. This has my myWeichert NYC email in here. I don't want that, right? You want to make sure that the email that you're sending mass emails from is a Gmail account. And that's why everyone, had made a Gmail account or used their personal Gmail account. Just make sure that that address is in there, because that means that they're coming from that. If it comes from the Weichert email, it will usually go to spam.
I see. Okay.
So just double check that. And if you did, just resend it, the same email again. If you didn't, then what you can do is, change the email, right? The first email is maybe introducing yourself and what you do. The second email is maybe, checking the MLS and finding 1 or 2 great properties that are cheap. Again, I always say, find the cheapest, single family home and say, hey, you could buy a single family for under $800,000, or a great 2-bedroom co-op with outdoor space for $400,000 or whatever it is. And you don't have to send the listing. You just send a little teaser. Check out my website for everything that's on the market. You put the link to your website. Boom, that's another one, right? And then maybe the next week you do a little market report. Hey, 10 things sold this week in if it's Bay Ridge, in Bay Ridge. Have you thought about buying? Interest rates are still at historic lows. Contact me or check out my website to see what's on the market. And you'll start getting a little bit of engagement, right? And it does take a series of, I
Okay.
think Christine got her first one after sending 3 email out. So it does take
Yes.
some time. And every week you should be hitting the same zip code over and over and over again with different information.
Okay. And those who ask for unsubscribe, do I do anything?
So yeah, if they unsubscribe and they push it, that's great. What I usually do is I just do a check, type their name in. I'll just go to one. Let me just show you in here. So like if you type their name in, I'm just going to pick, if you go into your CRM here on the left, and let me just find someone. Yeah, just pick someone. So these are some of my people, but I'll just show you what these look like. This is someone's lead. Let me just pick one of mine. Okay, so you'll be able to find them, right? If you put in the zip code, you can just type their name in, which
Okay.
will show up, or click on them.
And
And
they
I'll
show
click
up.
on this
Mhm.
person. So let's say this person says, I want to unsubscribe. You'll see it in here. They're like, unsubscribe me. What you can do is go under more actions and
Okay.
go to archive lead, right? And it's going to say, you're
Archive,
sure
okay.
if you hit yes here, it will totally take them out of your system.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
It's just kind of a nice double check. Again, if they say unsubscribe, it should not send them the emails anymore, but I just like to take them out of the system so I don't text them or something
Right.
either.
Okay.
Awesome. Well, and again, if you did get someone saying unsubscribe, it's a good sign that the email went out. So it's actually a good thing.
Yeah, no, I did get a lot of unsubscribe, so I can do that.
Yeah.
Not a problem. Mhm.
Awesome. Maria, any questions? No? Okay. Well, thank you guys. I'm going to
No,
stop.
thank you.